Hi, everyone. Hello, Instagram, Facebook, and all our community. Welcome to another training. My name is Dr. Kasha Kynes. I am CEO and founder of EBV Global Institute. And today we're talking about fibromyalgia and EBV. A hot topic, really complicated. We're going to simplify it today. Straightforward solutions. We're going to talk about what fibromyalgia is, what we know don't know about fibromyalgia and EBV connection. Do you know if you have EBV, if you have fibromyalgia? How do you figure out? How do you discern? I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the patterns that I see in our EBV community. So let's get right to it. So oftentimes when people seek my help, they have a bucket full of stuff. Here we go. There's a bucket. Fibromyalgia goes in. Rheumatoid arthritis goes in. Lupus goes in. Hashimoto's goes in. Mold toxicity goes in. Bucket full of stuff. Sometimes it's just EBV alone, but sometimes it's a bucket full. Well, the bucket full includes fibromyalgia quite often, I have to say. Now, I'll be really honest. Do we know if fibromyalgia is caused by EBV or EBV causes fibromyalgia? That's $1 million question, and I actually cannot answer it because I don't know. It could go either way, I think, and we don't have enough studies. I'm really disappointed with that. We really don't have enough studies on that. So researchers healing this, roll up your sleeves and do some studies. It's not enough. I'm going to share the studies that I have found. So what I need you to know, as I always repeat again and again, is EBV is an opportunist. So if you are vulnerable and compromised, that's where EBV reactivates. Whether you have fibromyalgia and as a result you are really compromised and vulnerable, then EBV comes join the party, or whether EBV actually causes physical pain. That does happen often. This is really dependent on a person, and so you have to discern. There's no way around it. There's no like magic formula. You have to do the groundwork and figure it out. I'm going to help you a little bit today. So, so fibromyalgia can be caused by so many infecting agents, toxic mold, heavy metal, serious stuff. And of course, EBV. So what is fibromyalgia in the first place? I'm going to read you a couple of definitions because it's very interesting. I always assumed it was an autoimmune condition, but if you look at one of the definitions, according to American College of Rheumatology, fibromyalgia is not an autoimmune condition. It's like, oh, that's interesting. So NIH says fibromyalgia is a syndrome of chronic widespread pain, typically accompanied by fatigue, non-restorative sleep, cognitive dysfunction, and mood disorders. All of these, by the way, are symptoms of EBV, including pain in some people, right? As defined by the 2010 American College of Rheumatology criteria, fibromyalgia affects approximately 5% of the population and is the second most common disorder after osteoarthritis, for which patients are referred to rheumatologist subspecialists. These criteria provide a framework for diagnosing fibromyalgia that does not require tender points. That's interesting. That used to be a diagnostic tool, and incorporates other symptoms of the syndrome in addition to pain, and extensive laboratory tests and imaging are not required to diagnose fibromyalgia. And it's also thought to be caused by overactive nerves that make the body perceive pain despite there being no physical injury. That's another definition. And inflammatory autoimmune diseases commonly co-occur with fibromyalgia, and these include rheumatoid arthritis and lupus. And these are classic presentations of EBV. Chronic EBV can manifest as lupus or rheumatoid arthritis. It's very well studied. Interesting, right? So research suggests that the nervous system is involved. Brain chemicals like serotonin and norepinephrine may be off balance, changing reactions to painful stimuli. Fibromyalgia, so I'm just reading and The point of EBV is that EBV can go into different organ systems. It can go into your vagus nerve. So you're going to have different presentation, connective tissue. You can have different presentation. And the only studies that I've been seeing, really honestly, are related to myalgia, polymyalgia, myalgia. Myalgia stands for muscle pain, and fibromyalgia, it has that word in it as well. So whether your doctor diagnosed you with fibromyalgia or you diagnosed yourself with fibromyalgia, the muscle pain, the muscular pain is just the only tracking of studies that we have relating muscle pain to EBV. So myopathy conditions affecting muscles, myositis, muscle inflammation, muscle fatigue, weakness, and sometimes pain seen in fibromyalgia. Polymyositis is an autoimmune disorder, a group of diseases called inflammatory myopathies that involve chronic, long-standing muscle inflammation, weakness, and sometimes pain. That's related to EBV. We have studies on that, myalgia and EBV. So, that's all we know. So if you have a pocket full and, fibromyalgia has been thrown into it, and your doctor or you also suspect that you have EBV because you've been reading, you have a couple of things that you can do to kind of assess your life and your medical history in the context of chronic EBV and acute EBV as well, and mono. So what I created on our EBV Help website, so our website, EBV HELP, like helping, ebvhelp.com. We have resources that are all evidence-based. So this is your place to go when you like starting from scratch and need to figure out what's happening. There is a quiz you can sign up for. And I created a quiz. It's 4 pages of different constellations of clusters, whether it's very odd symptoms like oversensitivity to mosquito bites or nosebleeds and things that people don't connect to EBV, but actually have been shown in studies that they can be presentations of EBV. So I have symptoms, I have medical conditions, I have a list of autoimmune disorders, I have a list of types of cancer. So as you're going through these lists and check them off, this will help you assess in my life, all these random things, the things that my doctor couldn't diagnose and something that was never resolved. All this actually will become really clear to you when you do this quiz. And it's absolutely free, so you can just get it on my website. If you want to take it a step further, you can get my book, because one of the things that people have told me over the years, again and again, the pattern that I see in the feedback from the readers is that they start connecting the dots and understanding, oh my gosh, this makes sense. This is a book about me. This is what happened to me. I've had this, and then this, and then this, and then this. This is why medical community is failing you, because they don't see all these connections. They don't have the information. They don't read the studies. They don't see the patterns. So you can do this. And the third thing you can do, if you actually don't have the labs for EBV and you'd like to test, be really careful because that's asking for errors, and you may be easily misdiagnosed, and then you're going to completely miss the boat and go into a rabbit hole of all kinds of other medical conditions. You need to test properly, and for this, either you have a functional doctor that understands which lab antibodies need to be included in the panel, or you go direct consumer. There are labs that are direct to consumer where you can bypass the doctor. And we actually have a relationship with Alta Lab. It's on my homepage of EBV Help, because people waste time, resources, energy to try to find a doctor to test, and then they're tested improperly, and then it's just such a hot mess. It's really disorienting and demoralizing, and you just completely depressed because you're told, there's no relationship between you and EBV, but in fact your lab is misinterpreted and you don't have all the markers. So this is really a hot issue for me, lab testing and interpretation. So I have extensive trainings on this website. You can go to the bottom of the website, click on the labs, and you will have all kinds of, scenarios of lab reports. And then you have a pop-up with 50-minute Facebook Live recording when I am drawing with a whiteboard and color markers just to educate you to understand your own labs. It's really, really crucial that you do, because doctors don't. You can't trust doctors' decision reading your labs for EBV because they are counterintuitive. And unless they know EBV, they will misinterpret it. I can tell you, I can almost guarantee you, you probably have been through that ringer already. So on our website, Alta Lab, if you click on it, you will see the panel, EBV panel that they created for me specifically with 4 antibodies. So you can write them down and present them to your doctor and say, look, all 4 need to be included. And please keep in mind that the labs typically do not include the 4th one, early antigen. If that's missing, that's a big issue. So you have to really insist that the doctor include this in the panel. And then the lab must include it. Sometimes they still don't include it. And then you're kind of in a pickle. You have to redo it. So I have all the trainings in there. I have an entire a chapter in my book on EBV labs and interpretation. It's very, very important. So if you do your due diligence, if you look at my quiz, if you have the capacity to read the book, then do it. But it's almost 600 pages. It's a lot to consume. So I would say, EBV quiz, the lab, get the lab properly tested, and then learn to fish. So instead of getting a fish from someone, learn to fish. And this means learn how to interpret your labs. It's all on the website. It's all in the book. And that's what I do. That's what I would do if you have fibromyalgia on your radar. So that's it. We need more studies. We need more connections, in research. But I hope this is helpful for you guys. And I will see you on the next training.